Welcome to Neco 2022 list of apparatus for physics on electricity. You are given a resistance box, zero center galvanometer, 2 volt or 3 volts accumulator, a key plug or meter bridge connecting wire, jockey 1 ohm resistor, and 2 standard resistor labeled X. So this is what Neco gave for the experiment on electricity, and I'm going to do this experiment using all these apparatus given for a better understanding of what the guide is going to be for the experiment you'll be doing. Now let's take the method. Place a resistance box on the left arm of a meter bridge and an unknown resistor S between 1 or 2 ohms at the right arm for values of resistance 1, 2, 3, and 5 ohms. Find the corresponding balance point or length. Measure from the left hand side. Tabulate your reading. Okay, we are going to tabulate our reading, but before then, you have to check the circuit as shown. This is how you have to set it up. According to the instruction, we need a resistance box, and I got myself a resistance box here. And then inside the resistance box, range of resistors or resistances which that should be introduced into the system. Now, I have a meter bridge. This is a meter bridge. The difference between meter bridge and potentiometer. This is a potentiometer. If you look at the potentiometer, there is no gap from the beginning to the end. This is potentiometer. There is no gap from here all the way to this. Potentiometer is simply a straight wire measured, placed on a meter rule. It's not the same thing like a meter bridge. When we talk about a meter bridge, you see this gap. This is a gap. This is also the length of wire which you saw in the potentiometer. Differentiate a meter bridge from a potentiometer. So meter bridge has some gaps in them, while potentiometer does not have. Well, how do you call it galvanometer? You will always see G, capital G, for galvanometer. This is a galvanometer. You see the one I'm using? So that's the galvanometer I'm using. The next thing they say we should use is, remember this one is center zero. The next thing we should use is 2 volts. This is my own. I just have to measure it this way. Use a masking tape to tape it very well so that I will ensure a tight connection. That is my Duracell. That is 2 volts accumulator, or 2 times 1.5. That is 1.5. 2 of 1.5 volts. And each of them is 1.5 volts. Dry cell. A key plug. The next one is a key plug. This is my own key plug. Then a meter bridge. Connecting wires. A jockey. This is the jockey I want to use. This is the jockey I want to use. So, the next thing is 2 volts, 2 ohms, standard resistor. 2 ohms, standard resistor. And 1 resistor. This is my 2 volts. This is the 2 volts resistor I'm using. I will then 1 ohm resistor. The 1 ohm resistor, I may be using it as a protective resistor. So now let's set up our circuit as required. In this case, so you have to choose whether to start from here. This is 0 end and this is 100 end. So I'm going to start from here. When I start here, I will connect I'm going to connect from this to the battery. Connect it to my battery. It's too long. So, tidy up. Please, before you start, you have to brush. Have to make sure that this is clean enough. So brush it to ensure a free flow of charges. And then from the battery, I will go back to the end. Remember the instruction I gave you. In physics experiments, you follow the instruction. So I will connect this. I will connect it back to this place. You see, I have formed a closed circuit, or sometimes they call it a loop. I have formed a closed loop. This 1 ohm resistor has to be connected. This 1 ohm resistor is going to be our protective resistor. So, going to connect it on this part. So then I'm going to use my jockey to connect it like this. From this 0 end, I'll connect the wire to this side of a battery. Which part is positive? So you go through, you see connection, connect from this same place again until you go back to the 100. You go back to 100. So this is gap. So I connected this resistance box on the left-hand side of the meter bridge. So this is the gap. From here to here is the gap. And I connected this resistance box on that gap from one positive to this part. Then there is another line. There is this metallic aluminum runs from this side to this side. Clean this thing so that the connection will be pure. Then the wire runs from one leg of this side, run this way, enter like this, come this way, enter the battery. Then
continues running according to my connection and the instruction. Continued running to the key, then runs down. Continue going to this connection again until I get to the end part of the meter bridge. This is the end part. Then there is a connection from here to the gap where I connected my X resistor, which is 2 ohm resistor, which is going to be X, and I connected it to the right hand side. Then I enter this gap. Then when I get to this point, I connected my galvanometer. See my galvanometer? Then the galvanometer entered into this protective resistor to this jockey, which I'm going to be using to make contact. Make contact. And as I make contact, so let's try and see what happens when I close the key. When I close the key, let's see what's going to happen. And I collect my jockey. So you see what happened. So it's not at that point. I'm looking for the balance point. It's not, definitely not there. So you see, when I get to this point, this part, see, it's no longer showing a full deflection. That means around here, around this place is where my balance point is. I'm looking for the balance point. Don't scrub, don't slide the jockey on this, on the meter rule. Don't slide it. So I'm looking for it somewhere here. No, it's not there. Let's keep going. So you see the balance point. When it goes to zero end, then you know that you have reached the balance point.
Okay, having established the fact that you need to use your jockey to be tracing on the meter rule, but don't slide, just like I'm doing like this now, you use your jockey on the meter rule in order to be able to find the balance point on the galvanometer. Okay, you see what I'm doing? Are you what I'm doing? You're checking the galvanometer to be able to find the balance point. And once you find the balance point is when the galvanometer is at zero mark. Then you take the reading for such mark. Okay, I'm looking for my zero. Okay, now look at it at zero mark. At zero mark, okay, let me bring the camera for you to see the length at that point. Okay. We have to record the length. Initially, you have recorded 28. Now, if I remove 1 ohm from the resistance box, I will now go back. Okay, let's record the balance point first. The balance point is 28. The balance point is 28 when no resistor was introduced. Now, I've introduced a resistor of 1 ohm Now, after introducing a resistor of 1 ohm, I'm going to use the jockey on the meter rule to find the balance point or the length of the balance point when resistor is 1, and then we record it. Okay. When you're having full scale deflection, you know you're not close. Keep on going. Keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. Looking for the balance point when R is 1. You just have to be a little patient because of the sensitivity of the galvanometer. Looking for it, looking for it. Okay, now the balance point is reached when resistance is 1 ohm. So the balance point is given as, okay, look at the balance point now. Let's check what the reading is. 46.5 cm. 46.5 cm. Now I'm going to close the 1 ohm and I'm going to open. I'm going to close 1 ohm, close it tight so that it will not have an effect on this. So this is 2 ohms. I'm going to open the 2 ohm from the resistance box. This is the resistance box. I am tightening 1 so that it will not mistakenly be introduced into the system as 3. But if you tighten 1 very well and other ones and let 2 be open, then it means that 2 is introduced. Now, 2 is introduced. Let's go back to the meter rule and on the meter bridge and be checking what the length would be or the balance point would be for ohm 2 meter for ohm 2 for 2 ohms resistor. Let's find what would be the next balance point. Okay, we are coming close to the balance point. Okay, all right, I think, okay, let's keep checking a place where the galvanometer will not check. Okay, coming close. Yes, that is it. That is the balance point. I got it. 58. Now let's go back and close the. Okay, no, when you open 2 and open 1, you have 3 ohms introduced. 2 and 1 means 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. So that is resistor. Resistance 3 ohms introduced. Let's go back and use the slide, the jockey, to make contact to find the balance point, the length at which the balance point will give us at that. Okay, we are very close. Yes, coming close. All right, that is the balance point. And that is 65.4. Look at it, 65, very close to the middle, but not 65.4 at 3 ohms. We have 65.4. So we keep going. Let's close that one and close these 2. No. We have to open 2 and 2. Let's check if there is 4 ohms. Check the resistance box where there is 4. There is not 4. What we have is 2. That is okay. See the 2. Now I'm going to open the 2 of them. Open the 2 plus another 2. That is 4 ohms. 4 ohm resistor is going to be introduced into the circuit. Is going to be introduced into the circuit. So sorry about that. Then I will use the jockey to test again. Use the jockey to be testing. And what are you noticing? What you're noticing is that as the resistance is increasing, the length is also increasing. Okay, that is the balance point. And that is 67.6. 67.6 when the resistance or the resistor is recording 4 ohms. The balance point is at 67.6. 67.6, yes, that's correct. Okay, we are going to also record that. You're going to record that. Now let's go back to open 5. Okay, I have to tight every other one very well. I'm closing the 2 back. I'm closing the 2, but I have to tight it well so that it will not be open without me knowing. That is 5. I have 5 there. Okay, I'm going to open 5 now. I'm going to open 5. Yeah. Now, as I've opened 5, I'm also going to use the jockey to go through again on the meter rule, on the constant wire, for the resistance of the unknown to be able to be recorded. Okay, so you keep testing. I will be increasing. I will be going close to the right more. Close to the right. Keep going. Keep testing. I'm watching my galvanometer. So I think I got it. Yes, that is the balance point. And that is at 72 cm. Okay, let's tabulate our readings and then